Hey YouTube, this is Rob L. Today I'm coming at you with a video that I've been meaning to do for quite a while now. I purchased the Axe-Fx III in November of 2018, and when I got it home I did a quick unboxing video, and I also did a quick video showing how to hook it up to a power amp, but I never really did a full review of it. And part of the reason is that there are many great videos out there reviewing it, instructional videos by people like Leon Todd, and I can leave a link to his channel. He has some really great videos about how to build presets, but I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to review it. So what I'm going to do is simply review it and explain how I use it and why I think it's such an incredible piece of gear. Now, of course, I will have sound samples in this video, but they're all going to be recorded direct into Pro Tools. Okay, so first of all, I want to explain how I use the Axe-Fx III and how I have it set up, because that kind of matters as far as what sounds you're going to get and the utility you're going to get out of it. So there's two main ways that I use it currently. The first way I use it is mainly messing around in for practice through my Yamaha HS7 speakers. And the second way I use it is recording into Pro Tools, and I do that by going out of the Axe-Fx into a Focusrite Scarlett 2i4. And the Focusrite is going into the back of the Yamaha HS7 monitors. And then the Focusrite is going into my MacBook Pro. Oh, and one more thing. All of the editing that I do on the Axe-Fx III is done through Axe-Edit, which is the editing software developed by Fractal Audio. So on the front here, you have the power switch, you have the controls for the settings, you have controls for 4 different output levels, you have a headphone jack and an instrument input. On the back, you also have an instrument input. You also have several different inputs and outputs, MIDI controls. In other words, you're basically covered for any situation you can think of. Okay, so I have Axe-Edit open here, and I just want to show you the level of editing that you can get into, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how much patience you have and your level of interest. Personally, I love editing Axe-Edit. I can do this for hours. It's fun creating patches and exploring the different options. So for example, the input, you have a really great noise gate, and as you see here, threshold, ratio, attack, release. There's a couple different types. The next block I have here is what's called pitch. This is actually a really great option that Axe-Fx offers. So for example, if you're in standard tuning, you can go down half a step or a full step. Or if you are half a step down, you can go up, a step, whatever it is. And that's great like in a live situation, or if you have, let's say, a Floyd Rose bass guitar that you don't want to completely retune, it's useful that way. Here's a drive block. Now just to show you, there are quite a few options. I mean, almost every distortion pedal you can think of, and they all sound great. Wah pedals. As you can see here, they have different types. I personally prefer the Crybaby or the FAS wah. I happen to have this set up with the phaser, but even in the phaser there are different options. But let's say you want to have a different effect there. You just go to this little drop-down menu and you can pick flangers, there's EQs, different types of delays. Okay, so the next block here is the amp. Again, there are quite a few options. If you click over here, here's just an example of everything. There's so many options, just endless. And within the amp block, for example, here it says authentic. That shows you what the controls would be on the authentic version of that particular amp. But they have an ideal version where they have all sorts of different controls. You have controls for a preamp, power amp, power supply, speaker drive, input EQ, output EQ. There's so many options. Then I have the cabinet block here. I have 2 different cabinets, but for example, if you want to choose a different cabinet, again, there's so many options. You can kind of get lost in it, but it's great having all those options, in my opinion. Next thing I have here is an EQ, and there are several different types of EQs. I have this block empty. Chorus, again, a whole bunch of different types of choruses. They all sound great. Some are analog, some are stereo. Delays, tons of different delays. Again, they sound great. Different controls for that. Reverb, different types of reverb, quite a few here. They all sound very good. And then there's an enhance feature, and what that does, and I won't get into it too technically, but essentially it gives it like a wide stereo sound, and there's a few different types here. There's classic, modern. It just makes everything sound a little bit more stereo, a little fuller, a little bit more separated, and it's a great feature. And then of course there's the output here. So the reason why I'm showing you all this is that if you're looking for something really simple like a real amp, with a few controls on the front, this may not be for you. But if you like editing and you like getting into the weeds, the Axe-Fx, which by the way comes with great presets out of the box, or a Boss GT1000 or a Helix or a Kemper, it might be a really good option for you. So in conclusion, if you don't mind creating patches and editing, the Axe-Fx III is probably the most incredible piece of gear I've ever owned. You know, there's a reason why Metallica and Def Leppard and big acts like that, they've actually all moved, I believe in most live cases, to using the Axe-Fx III instead of hauling all of their gear all over the world. The greatest part of owning an Axe-Fx III, in my opinion, for the way I use it for direct recording, is that it's like having the perfectly recorded guitar tone from your favorite cabinet or your favorite amp and being able to put that onto your recording. It's almost like taking the guitar tones, like let's say from your favorite album that are already produced, and being able to use that tone. In fact, the Axe-Fx actually has a feature that allows you to take tracks from a CD or an album where you isolate the guitar tracks and it can closely match the tones you hear on the CD or album. So I'm very happy with the Axe-Fx III. I believe it is considered the premier unit on the market. That's not to say that the Kempers aren't great and the Line 6 Helix, the Boss GT1000. I have not used those other units, but I used to own the Boss GT100, and I can tell you that the Axe-Fx, not surprisingly, blows it away as far as the tone and the options, the effects, and I highly recommend it. So that's my review. Thank you for watching this video. If you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and I'll be back soon. Take care.